Okay, I just wanted to do a quick talk about the Scream movies. Okay, I did a review on the first Scream movie here, and I'll do individual reviews of the other first four movies um, later. Here's my thing. I watched them because I'm going to go see Scream 7 with my family. It's just something my family wanted to do. We all love the Scream movies, but I had not seen the previous ones and I wanted to watch them. Now I have, and I wanted to talk about that. Here's my opinion and ranking definitively for those first four, and I'm not tossing 5 and 6 into this category because I think they're different enough that I just don't want to rank them right now. Okay. On the bottom, you have two. I think two is boring. Two is like trying to be one, but it's not as good. Which, to be fair, I think is the point, right? Sequels to horror movies are like that, especially slasher flicks. They're like, this is the original, but not as good because it just doesn't like have the same feel. Now, sometimes sequels sometimes can be better because the characters are better or the villains are better. This is not that case, and they do it on purpose. They make a lot of the secondary characters in Scream 2 forgettable because a lot of the secondary characters in sequel to horror movies are forgettable. So they're boring. The movie's boring on purpose because sequels to horror movies are boring, and so they do that. And that's why it's not a good movie, okay? So it's bottom of the barrel. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the setting. I've never been a fan of college settings for movies. It's just not my shtick. So I don't know why. I just legitimately, if it's set in a university, I don't enjoy the movie. I never have. But the follow up, next right after that, is Scream 4. I do not dislike Scream 4. From this on, I like these movies. Okay, Scream 4 was fun. I think it was interesting. I like the callbacks. I like that it's a requel, a sequel that's a redo of the original. Right? This is just like tit for tat, like a redoing of the original in a lot of ways, but different enough that it's interesting. It has the main character coming back to its roots, and it's interesting. I enjoy what it attempted. Okay, I like seeing the characters grown up from when you watch the first one to this newest one. Sydney's a lot older. Dewey's a lot older. I don't like Dewey and Gail's relationship in this movie. It kind of just it feels dumb, and I really, really despise the um, female officer. I don't even remember her name. That's how much I just didn't like her. But I think you were meant to dislike her because she's so meant to be like an obvious, oh, it could be her. Because requels do this. Here's the thing requels actively make it look like, oh, look, this is like something someone's gonna do. Like this, they make it so obvious that this could be something for someone, and that's interesting that they make it like, oh, here's an obvious person that it could be. And they give you so many obvious people that it could be to try to hide the person that it is. And I like that. It's interesting that they do that. She's like the dad in the first one, where it's like, oh, well, it's obviously the dad, right? You know, it's obviously this cop because she's trying to, it feels like she was trying to frame, right? It's interesting. I really like it. It did good. The next one here, and this one upsetted my sisters. Right, I've got four sisters, and they all love the Scream franchise. So it's one. I love one. I think one's fantastic. I love Matthew Lillard. I love the setting. It started the whole shebang with Scream. I think it's a classic. I think anyone who's into slasher flicks should watch it because it really hits home with the original idea, which is what if we're in a horror movie, like a slasher flick, but everyone knows about the horror movie, slasher flick genre. And so instead of just being attacked, they know what's going on. Super interesting. Love that idea, right? That's cool. But it's not my favorite, okay? Okay? Because my favorite out of the original 4 is 3. And it's everyone's least favorite out of the original 4. If you are ranking them based off of what's a good movie. Now, my older sister, she said, what's another way to rank movies? And I'm like, well, just based off what you like. Like, you can rank stuff based off of what's objectively good, and you can rank stuff based off of what's objectively something you enjoy. You can enjoy something that's not good. I enjoy a lot of things that are not genuinely a good movie. There's a lot of movies I enjoy that I'm like, that's not a good movie, but I enjoyed it, right? And Scream 3 is that movie. Scream 3 is terrible. Like, as a movie, it went through production hell. The director had to try to pick up the scraps and make this thing work on a short timeline. And instead of focusing on horror cliches and tropes, it focused more on trilogy cliches and tropes. But it still just did exactly what I wanted, which was everyone's an adult in the movie, and it takes place in Hollywood, and I love that setting, and it felt like a live-action Scooby-Doo film, and I love those 2 movies. But then it also, like, it felt like it was meant to be bad, because trilogy movies, the 3rd movie is always bad. Because it always does the same thing, which is, oh wait, we need to reinvent the wheel. Because the first 2 were great. What do? Let's introduce stuff to the movie that had, like, to the franchise that there's no way you would have known. And it actively impacts the rest of the franchise forever. I love that. It's stupid. It's dumb. It should never happen. And they pointed it out and they did it. And so the question is it a good movie for being a bad movie on purpose, right? Or is it a bad movie because it was on purposely a bad movie? To me, I think it's fantastic because they actively tried to make it a campy, bad 3rd movie, which also makes sense. The 2nd movie was less violent than the 1st movie. The 3rd movie was even less violent because they're actively trying to make them less and less violent, because that's how horror movies are. They got less and less violent as they went along until the requel, where it was even more violent because movies got less censored. And then the newer movies, 5 and 6, they're even more violent because movies are getting more violent. It's such an interesting choice to make the 3rd movie so campy, because that's what they did on so many other slasher flicks. Just look at Halloween 3, which doesn't even have Michael Myers in it. I think it's fantastic. I love everything they did there. And out of all of them, I'd sit down and just rewatch 3. I loved it. So let me know what you guys think about the series and the franchise as a whole. Maybe I'll make a movie on 5 and 6 once I rewatch them. So peace.